Hey everybody, I just wanted to make this video real quick because I've been having some conversations lately about recruiting and culture and the difficulties of doing so and how to develop develop a team that's meaningful and sustainable. Basically, just want to talk about our success story in Waymaker Enterprises, which is my one of my current projects I'm working on. We're an Amazon delivery service partner. We operate out of DML4 in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and um, and we're a very labor intensive business. So we hire a lot of people. I personally interviewed and hired about 150 people last year. That's atypical for me in my career of 25 years of building businesses. I think my largest staff before that was probably 30 people in a warehouse situation. Um, First things first, though, I would say what I've learned is creating culture. You have to be able to understand and communicate your identity, who you are, and what you're doing, and why you do it. And I think that's ultra super important in being able to articulate that and translate that to everyone, either A, who's potentially coming into your organization, or B, who is a part and continues to be a part of your organization. So for us, we kind of sat down and put together our core values and our pillars of our company, and we developed a mission statement. And so our mission statement goes something like this. We are a leadership development company that just so happens to that just so happens to deliver packages for Amazon. And what we do is we help other people discover and develop their gifts, talents, and abilities, and we do so by establishing our core values or our pillars in our organization and into our people. Those pillars are integrity, hard work, and service. And I kind of expound upon that a little bit, but in a nutshell, we have about a 3-4 sentence mission statement that I will share with people when I am hiring, when I'm interviewing, when I'm recruiting. And so that is very important, that when you translate that you're communicating that to people, because that is first base, and that becomes an expectation for me and my organization all the way through someone's tenure. And we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. And even now, if I get into a situation with an employee where maybe things aren't working out, or we're having little turbulence, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down with them and say, hey, are these things still true to you? Do you still believe you're a part of the Waymaker team, and do you still see integrity, hard work, and service as part of that? Now, if that's true, then we'll talk about whatever the practical situation is at hand. If those core values aren't true anymore, well, that's simple. Then my next step, or my mission then for you or for that person, is going to be to help them go be successful someplace else. And we'll carry that conversation on, because we do want to help people to be successful, either internally in our organization, meaning they're moving up into leadership, or moving out into something else. And just to say, moving out isn't always a bad thing. I've definitely had people who've come to the end of their tenure, their life circumstances have changed, and it's been a good conversation to have with people, to just say, like, hey, maybe your season is done. Let's celebrate you moving into that next season. It's great. It's really great to release people who need to be released, because either A, they don't belong anymore because of they don't see what you see anymore, or B, sometimes people feel like they're failing the team when they're so drawn to what the vision that you've casted. They're like, oh, I know I'm supposed to do this other thing, and this season's sort of over, but I don't want to let the team down. You as an owner can release them and just say, like, hey, you know what? It's okay. We're always going to be friends. You always have my number. I'm actually celebrating this for you. This is a win. This is a win-win. We got to walk through life together in this season, and I'm really happy for you to move on to that next thing in your life. So that's basically what we do. Now that we've established basically that culture, what is very important is that we create what I call filters. Filters Filters, the purpose of a filter is not to bring things in. It's not to suck. If you have a water filter on your house, it's not to suck everything you can into your house and your plumbing system. Filters actually keep things out. And so for me, I create what are called filters. What are things that are contrary to the culture that we're creating? So if I see people's character isn't there, if you're lying to me, you're not showing up for interviews, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of a story that doesn't align, or I talk to you, I look at your resume and you've worked at 17 places in the last 36 months. Again, that's just something that would say like, hey, you've got some issues to work out. I don't want to be number 18 on your resume. In fact, I'd like to help you actually develop a real resume because nobody wants to look at that resume. And so we create these filters that begin to filter people out. And so that process is happening at the same time I'm casting vision. So at the end of this process, if we get people through a phone interview, an in-person interview, I'm generally doing the in-person interviews myself. And when I actually sit down and cast that vision and cast our mission statement and our pillars and what we believe and whatnot, if that person is not absolutely excited and envisioned about who we are and what we're doing, because I leave the ball in their court at the end, and I'll just say, what do you think? If their response isn't like, man, I love this, I would really love to be a part of the team, honestly, I don't hire them. Because you have to have, in what we're doing, you have to have vision for what we do. The job that we do in this particular business is quite challenging. It is hard. We do work with Amazon, which is a whole nother challenging situation. And if I don't feel like you're all in and on board, and at least you're in with Waymaker culture, I know that I'm going to lose you eventually. And I do feel if you are all in, then what we're going to get is a synergy, a 2 + 2 = 5 scenario where we'll be able to fight together and build something excellent. And that's what we've experienced on our team. So our tenured workforce, very high, always function at nearly 100% or high 90s. Our scorecard, very high. Our quality's great. We have a very teachable team, and we just don't have people going rogue. Now, have I hired people? Here's the question, right? Have I hired people and missed it? Absolutely, yes. We usually know within a few weeks if people's character is not in line with the culture that we're creating. And I'm happy to sit down with them and just have a real conversation and just say, hey, look, I don't think we're a match here. It's not a love connection. If you want to go work for another DSP, that's fine if you really want to do this job. I just don't see you fitting in with what we're doing. And most of the time it's actually they don't fit the job itself, not that they don't fit in necessarily with our culture. I don't think many times it would be like, oh, you need to go work for another DSP and you're going to be great. Usually not, because if something's not firing, then it's just not going to work anywhere. And I'm happy to have those conversations sooner than later. Giving people 18 chances, no, that's not really what we do. I have what's called a benefit of the doubt clause. So I will give people the benefit of the doubt in situations. But other than that, we really just don't operate in contrary to our culture. If you no call, no show, that's job abandonment, and we're going to end your employment. Now, will I sit down and talk to someone in a situation to say what's going on? I'm actually really disappointed and surprised. That'll be your benefit of the doubt clause, and I will say that, like, hey, technically I could let you go right now because you no called, no showed, but I actually believe in you. Now I just want to know, do you believe in what we're doing? Pointing back again to that culture. Do you believe in these things? Do you want to build something with integrity? Do you believe in hard work? Do you believe that we're here to serve? We're here to serve our customers, not just get served by a paycheck. And if we can right the ship and hear the right answers, then we'll continue on. If the person's like, well, I got blah, 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 then maybe it's time to cut them loose. But it's super rare situation that happens. And I can honestly say in the last, year, I've actually had to fire very few people. Have I had people move on? Yeah, we've had a few people move on. That's okay. It's better to get that done sooner than later. But one of the things we don't want to do is operate under pressure or under that poverty mentality where I've got to hire, hire, hire. I just see DSP struggling all the time because they're in the continual hiring process. What happens? They have no culture. Their culture is chaos. Their quality is low. I mean, if they can hit scorecard, I'm like, wow, that's pretty good that you hit scorecard. And then you start again seeing things suffer in your vehicles. I have to have a level of faith where I can send you out in a $60,000 vehicle and know that like you're not going to trash it, you care about it, you respect it, and so on. In fact, we semi-assign drivers to kind of like their own vehicles. We'll have like a team that works in a vehicle. They take ownership and pride of what is theirs, whereas somebody who doesn't care, who's running into trees or whatever the situation is. Yeah, you don't want that. They don't care. They're complaining. They have a different mentality, and so just to say, you as an owner, as a lead person, you have 100% control over the culture of your company, and when you forsake that, yeah, that's going to get ugly, and you're going to reap what you sow. So. Just saying this, I'm just putting this out there. I don't mean to be hypercritical of how anyone else is building. I'm just sharing in sort of my experience in the last 20 months of being a DSP and my last almost 3 decades of building businesses. I'm always looking to learn. I'm not here to be critical. I'm looking to be helpful. And hopefully this is helpful to some of you out there.